Hickok 45 here. Today we're going to do a video on the mini Uzi. Just kidding. It's actually, well, we are going to do a video on the mini Uzi, but Hickok 45 is not here. John Hickok, the and son, is here, and this is actually a Vector Arms mini Uzi. And Dad suggested that I do this video on this gun because this is actually a gun that I purchased, and some of you that know me know that I'm a huge fan of just the Uzi in general. And this is one of those deals where I didn't know how much I wanted a mini Uzi until I saw one for sale, and I had to jump on it. And especially because these guns are actually kind of rare. And of course, now this is the civilian legal version. It's got this crazy stupid, you know, NFA legal barrel on it and everything, and it's a semi-automatic. Because as you know, the mini Uzi in its original configuration is a open bolt submachine gun with a rate of fire of over 1,000 rounds per minute. It's like 1,100 or something like that. It's very fast. It's like comparable to a Mac 10 or a Mac 11 or something like that, versus the full-size Uzi, which is more like about 650 rounds a minute, something like that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyways, this is the mini Uzi. It's made by Vector Arms. Kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a look at it. It's a really interesting gun. It has the side folding stock. That's one of the big characteristics of the mini Uzi that you'll notice over the full size, which you guys have seen us do videos on the channel before, and maybe even seen Dad shoot one off of a bicycle, which we actually have a t-shirt of, which you can find in a link in the description for. Shameless plug there, sorry guys. But the full-size Uzi is what most people are probably familiar with, and it's the one, it's been around since I think 1951 is around the time that that thing started showing up. And in its original configuration, the full-size Uzi actually had a wooden stock, which looks kind of weird to us now, but at the time it kind of makes sense in the 50s. That they would have originally put a wooden stock on it. And then they eventually went to the folding stock that kind of folds, makes kind of a triangle shape down here. It folds underneath the back of the receiver, and then you kind of push it down and pull it out. And I'm sure you guys have seen that before. But on the mini Uzi, which came out in around 1982, so quite a bit later, they went with this side folding stock, which is actually really cool. I like it a lot. I mean, it almost kind of doubles as a vertical grip in a way. If you had the full auto one, you could get better control of it. Not really necessary on the semi-automatic, but that's kind of cool. And also, considering, just like Dad, I am 6'8", so it gives me extra length, which that's something that surprised me about this gun, which I didn't find out until after I already bought it. It's always fun when you buy something and then you find out that you like it even more after you've already bought it. It actually has, I think, about 2 inches extra length on the stock, so you know that makes it even cooler. But before I jabber too much about this thing, let's shoot it. And let's start out by putting on my eye and ear protection. That's an important part of the process. We're going to start out here by shooting at the go ahead and take out this green tool here right here. Let's go for I'm gonna bang on the tombstone. Try to crank some out a little faster. Little hang up. Okay. I've noticed with, in these magazines, I have no idea where they came from, and I've noticed that if they do malfunction, it's usually toward the end of the magazine, which is common for a lot of guns, especially like back in the old days, before people knew how to make good 1911 magazines. That was always a problem. So now, one thing you might ask is, while yes, of course, the mini Uzi is a really cool gun, but why the hell would you want this thing? Well, the cool thing about this, the only reason you would really want it, is literally because it's the closest thing you can get to an actual mini Uzi and not have to pay, $19,000-$20,000 for a transferable, fully automatic Uzi. So that's the value of this gun. Now, practically speaking, it's a decent little 9mm carbine. It's kind of cool for that, but it is pretty heavy. It's got a lot of weight to it. Unloaded, I think it's about 6 pounds or something like that. You know, having that long barrel on it's kind of goofy. Now, if you had this SBR, if it was a short-barreled rifle, which is another NFA term that shouldn't exist, then you're talking about being cut off about right there. And then by the time you have this the stock folded, which this thing is like new, so it's kind of stiff, but you basically pull down the back of it and it folds over like that. Then, you know, imagine it's cut off right there. You're talking about a very small package, and I think that's part of the reason why they wanted the 25 round magazines, because I mean, look at that, that's just like a little bitty gun, and you've got 25 rounds of 9mm just screaming out of this thing. I can see how it would be pretty effective, and also the weight of it would help keep down on the recoil when firing it in full auto. But the mini Uzi it kind of sits in the middle of the Uzi lineup, I guess you could say. There's the full size, which I already talked about. You've seen it in the videos. You guys know it, the full size Uzi. And then the mini is basically the same profile in a lot of ways of the full size Uzi, except they have taken off a couple inches of either end of it. That way it still has that famous Uzi balance to it. So it's kind of it's a shrunk down version, but they cut off the ends a little bit. And this, like I was explaining earlier, the side folding stock. And then you also have, which people get these confused sometimes, there's something called the micro Uzi, which is really a totally different looking gun. It doesn't look a lot like this. You can still kind of tell that it was made by the same people, but it looks pretty different, and it's actually a machine pistol. Now, I have seen some of those that have side folding stocks on them and different types of stocks, but it's basically a machine pistol, the micro. So you got the full size, and then the mini right here, and then the micro, which is like a little machine pistol, which is probably better than a Mac 10 or a Mac 11, but this to me is really cool. All right, try a couple more. Of course, you got this bolt, pull back on the top to rack around in, and because it's semi-automatic, it's closed bolt instead of open bolt. You can see the little cutout too on the top, just like the full-size Uzi, so you can use your sights. Okay, I'm gonna try something. Let's start with a tombstone on the other hill over there. Another thing that's cool, you sort of get that feel that you get from the full auto Uzis, that kind of chunky kind of feel when you're shooting it, because that bolt is so heavy, and even though you're not feeling, doesn't have that distinctive open bolt feel of when you're pulling the trigger and you're releasing that big old heavy chunk of iron, you still sort of get that kind of feeling, like there's a big piece of metal moving back and forth in there, which is kind of neat. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try the gong. I'm gonna try the red plate. As you can see, it's pretty easy to hit with because you've got ghost ring sights. It really helps. The longer barrel adds a little velocity, but not enough to make a huge difference or anything. I'll go ahead and shoot the dueling tree. See how it swings those around. All right, that one worked fine. So yeah, about 1982 was when this thing kind of came onto the scene. Sort of like the purpose of a gun like this would have been to have that much firepower and something really concealable that you could maybe put under a coat or something like that for, like, I don't know, like executive protection, or if you're a top secret ninja, I don't know, something like that. It definitely has those kind of advantages. I think that the MP5 sort of won out over this thing in a lot of cases, but I don't know, having never shot a full auto one, I can't really a full auto mini Uzi, I can't really attest to that, how much better it would have been than the MP5. I do know that the MP5 you can really lay those rounds in there, and it's not quite as clunky of a gun. But I would imagine with as high, I can't imagine a gun as compact as a full auto mini Uzi is, and having as high of a rate of fire as it does, and being able to control it any better than you'd be able with this thing. I mean, just the weight of this thing would have to make a huge difference on that. So, all right, we'll shoot it again. This nut likes to come loose on me right here. I need to, the screw, I need to put some Loctite on that or something. All right, let's try another mag. This is the last 25 rounder. Okay. We get these 2 liters taken care of up here. Yep, hang up again. Now, from what I understand, these Vector Arms Uzis are supposed to be really well made, but it's still not an IMI, which IMI is who made these guns originally. And then again, on top of that, you're talking about a gun that's not even in the configuration that it was originally designed to be in, as an open bolt submachine gun. So, you know, really, like I said, the purpose of this gun is just so you can have an Uzi and not have to, you know, remortgage your house or anything like that. And one reason I jumped on this thing when I saw it was available was because these are pretty hard to find these days. There's a few IMI guns floating around, but they're very expensive. And I'm talking about the semi-automatic ones. All the full auto ones are, of course, really expensive, over $15,000 for a transferable one. But the ones that are IMI, which are the best ones that are in semi-automatic, I mean, you'd be lucky to even find one, and if you did, it's going to be $4,000 or $5,000 easily. And these were originally sold, I think, Atlantic Firearms, I think, was the company that was selling them, and they were going for around $1,200. So it was a much more attractive option if you wanted a mini Uzi. But they only sold them for a very short period of time because they bought up a bunch of, or not Atlantic Firearms didn't, but Vector Arms bought up a bunch of old Uzi parts, and they were just cranking them out for a while, but eventually I guess they ran out of parts, and they don't sell them anymore. And you'll notice the receiver is a Group Industries receiver, which they made Uzis for the you know, full auto transferable market sometime in the 80s, before that crazy 86 ban, the Hughes Amendment, happened. And then I don't know, they went out of business or something like that, and then many years later, Vector Arms acquired some of their receivers and built guns on them. And you can see here the lower is what they call a Hebrew lower, hence the unusual letters there. So, of course, the S is still safe. I forget what those actually stand for, but the D would be full auto if this gun was full auto, and the E stands for semi, based on my understanding. And you know, a little bit of history with me and the Uzi. I grew up shooting a full-size Uzi because Dad had a transferable one when I was a kid. It was actually one of the first guns I ever learned how to shoot, and it's a lot of the reason that I like the Uzi so much, because I don't know, it just feels familiar. You know, to me, it's like going back and watching old Simpsons episodes. It's like the gun version of that for me, and just everything about it just feels so familiar. So it's neat to own one, even though it's semi-automatic. Okay, shoot this last 32 rounder, and then I'll let you guys get back to finishing your lunch or dinner, whatever you're doing. Okay, so this is not getting loose on me. All right. Okay. And if you want to learn more about just the Uzi in general, check out some of our other Uzi videos in the catalog. I just more wanted to just talk about the mini Uzi in general in this video. And you can find these Vector Arms mini Uzis. You can find them in 45 ACP also, if you're lucky. Let's try some bowling pins. Losing that front sight a little bit. It was weird, it felt like it was empty. Look at that, that's a mess. Again, the reason you buy this gun is because you like Uzis, not because you're looking for something reliable. Now there might be some things you could do to it, make it more reliable, and I'm sure the IMIs are a lot better. But so, anyways, there's the mini Uzi. Just a really cool gun, especially if you like Uzis. You know, these are really difficult to find. It'd really be neat if somebody would bring back some of these. I know Century Arms has imported some full-size ones recently that are somewhat reasonably priced, but the mini Uzis are just really difficult to come by, and they're really cool guns. I mean, they're in some ways they're better than the full-size Uzi, and in a lot of ways, really. I mean, at least for me, you've got more length on the stock. It does everything the full-size Uzi does, except it's smaller, more compact. As far as rate of fire, you know, the over 1,000 might be a little fast. Again, talking about the full auto version, where the full size is like more like 650, but I think you can even put a heavy bolt in them to kind of crank that rate of fire down if that's what you want. But even in the semi-automatic version, it's kind of a fun little plinker. But anyways, glad you guys be interested in taking a look at that, and I'll catch you guys later next time. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that, because I know I sure did. Well, I've got you here. I wanted to let you guys know about our friends over at SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute. They are a fully accredited online distance learning program where you can be certified in gunsmithing, and you can also get an associate's degree in firearms technology. And they also do a lot of work with veterans. They accept the GI Bill. They also have hands-on experience, even though it's a distance learning program. So just wanted to let you guys know about them. Also, you can find them at sdi.edu. That's the Sonoran Desert Institute. And also, just want to let you guys know we have merchandise now. So if you want to buy any Hickok 45 merchandise, you can go over to our store. The link is in the description of every video. And there's also a link kind of on the header of the main channel page, the main YouTube channel. And so we've got that. And also, if you want to find more of our content in other places, it's everywhere. You can go to full30.com. We have most or all of our videos over there. You can also find us on Facebook, Hickok 45 Facebook. You can find Hickok 45 on Instagram. I think it's the real Hickok 45 over there. And then also on Twitter, it's Hickok 45. And then me, the son, John Hickok, you can find me at Hickok 45 and Son on YouTube. I also do a podcast called Gun Culture Radio, which you can find on that YouTube channel and also on iTunes. And there's also a John Hickok Facebook page, which you can find the link to on the Hickok 45 and Son channel page. There's a link over there. And that's all I can think of for now. That's a lot to digest. So you're going to want to think about that for a little bit and then watch one of these other videos that's like down there or over there somewhere, because some of these look pretty good.